Hi, Ian with MJ Gable.
I'm Matt with MJ Gable.
Wanted to talk to you today a little bit about what goes into the price of a diamond when you buy it retail.
How it gets to that price
Yes.
point, because it is a long journey before the diamond ends up on a necklace, earring, pendant,
Ring.
on your finger.
Yeah, whatever the case is.
Goes through a bunch of price points, and we're here to explain why a diamond is priced basically where it's priced at.
The way that it is, sure. And to piggyback on that, I think this will help explain why you are unable to get the price you paid for a diamond when you go to sell it, if you go to sell
That's
it.
a hot topic,
Yes.
yeah. And that's
So-
one of the, obviously, areas of the industry that we're very familiar with, which is when people want to sell their diamond rings
Yeah.
back or diamond jewelry, or when we consult with a family that is looking to sell diamond jewelry and they're kind of shocked at the price point they cannot get for it.
Yes.
And we'll go over some of that too.
Sure. So by the time a diamond gets to you, whether it is in a finished piece of jewelry or it is loose at a jewelry store and you're going to put it into an engagement ring or whatever, that diamond has already traveled. Let's say you're in the United States or anywhere in the world, actually. That diamond has already traveled almost around the world, has been to multiple countries. Certainly, it is very rare to buy a diamond that actually was mined in the country that you live in. So there are 6 major countries that diamonds are mined in. We have Australia, Angola.
South Africa, Russia, Botswana,
Yep.
and then Namibia. What is
Namibia, yes, an African country. So what happens is once those diamonds are mined, they obviously come out of the earth in rough form. They then have to be determined on if they can be cut into a diamond.
Gem quality.
Yes, if they are gem quality or if they are commercial quality, used for tools, etc.
Commercial grade.
Yes. So what happens is a valuator then comes in and looks at the rough uncut stones. What they look for is the quality, obviously, the color of the diamonds, what the yield is going to be. So remember, one rough, large diamond, a big rock, may yield multiple stones. So what the valuator does is they determine how many stones they may be able to get from that diamond, which is going to determine, some of that rough value. Most of the mining companies already have their own manufacturers and distributors that they use or branches within that company. But from there, from being dug out of the earth, we go to that manufacturing and cutting process. The majority of diamonds are cut in India.
India, yeah.
Yep, about 60%.
Very cheap labor.
Yep, 60% of rough diamonds, around there are cut in India. Your next largest cutter is going to be Israel. About 14 to 15%, of the rough stones get cut there. So remember, we've gone from, let's say, Australia. We've, come from a mine in Australia. Now we're going, up to India. From there, once the diamond has been cut and polished and now is a gem quality, gem faceted diamond ready to be sold, now goes to a manufacturer who's going to, sell that diamond to a wholesaler.
Well, don't forget, we got the Kimberley process somewhere on that point before it even comes
Correct.
over.
Before it even gets into, the country. When it's exported from the original country that it was
Origin.
mined from, needs to go through that process. So now we're going to a wholesaler.
So mine, cutter, manufacturer, wholesaler.
From the wholesaler, it's going to go to your local jeweler. Remember, again, it's loose still. So your wholesaler or diamond dealer is going to sell it to your local jeweler or a large, corporation that is going to then mount that diamond into a piece of jewelry. And that's how you're going to see it in the display case with a nice, pretty price tag on it.
And don't forget, at each one of those levels that Anne's talking about, there's a price point associated with that. And everybody during that process has to make money on it. So let's just use round numbers. Let's just say that a rough, uncut, unpolished gem gets sold. It's typically between $400 and $500 a carat, let's just say. Then from there, it gets polished. Let's just say it costs $50 to $80 per carat starting weight to polish that stone. There's a cost there. Then it goes to the manufacturer. The manufacturer has to buy it or is part of the mine or part of their organization, but there's a fee there. And then it goes to the wholesaler. The wholesaler has to pay a price for that stone. It's no longer $400 to $500 a carat. You're probably in the $15,000 to $25,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 per carat, depending on the size.
Yeah. So once the diamond gets to you, everyone has already had a hand in it. Everybody, all of those people have already made a profit. So let's say, that the diamond, rough out of the mine, right, is
$500 a carat.
It's probably more like $800 a carat, but let's just, whatever it is. By the time it gets to you, that 1 carat, rough diamond polished as a 1 carat stone is going to have a value of $8,500 to $10,000, depending on the quality of the stone.
Yes.
So, that's a huge jump, right, per carat price. Every time, another good example here, let's take $1. So every $1 that a wholesaler pays their cutter, okay, so the diamond is now going from cut to the wholesaler who's going to sell it on. They will then sell it for $1.30. Okay, so again, the wholesaler bought it from the cutter for $1. He's going to turn around and sell it to, let's say, a local jeweler for $1.30. Okay, let's just use simple math. Every time a diamond is sold brick and mortar, let's use dollars again. Every dollar that the brick and mortar jeweler pays for a stone, they are going to then sell it for $2 to $3. Okay, so the jeweler buys it from the wholesaler for $1.
Let's use the $1.30. Let's just say it gets to it gets there to $1.30.
Yep.
They're going to be $2.30 to $3.30, maybe $3.50 for that diamond.
Correct. Yeah. So your markup, does also tend to get a little bit bigger every step that it goes, right? The profit margin goes up a little bit each time it goes up on the pyramid. Now, part of that is overhead. Jewelers and obviously, retailers have a large overhead. They have to pay for insurance. They have to pay for their brick and mortar location. They have to pay for their employees. They have to pay for marketing. They have to pay their own salary. Everybody.
The bench dealer that's on site. I mean, there is
an exponential amount of cost.
A ton amount of cost just to run a jewelry store. Not to mention the lights.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, the displays, the cases,
the jewelry that's in the cases.
Yes. I mean, the ultrasonic cleaner. So again, I don't want it to sound like we are making it that jewelers are gouging the public. That is not true for most jewelers. Most jewelers are just making a living. It's just a matter that their overhead is significantly larger, right? So they have to charge $2 to $3 for that thing that they just bought for $1 or $1.30. To be able to support themselves. So what happens here is that you just can't avoid that transition and that world tour, if you will, for that diamond from the mine to the jewelry case.
From a retail price point.
Yes.
Now backing out of that, and I don't know if I'm going ahead, but when you go to sell that diamond back, let's just say you're upgrading, or unfortunately with a 48% divorce rate here in our country, or for whatever reason, somebody passes away in the family and they leave a beautiful diamond ring. When you go back specifically to a jeweler, it's not their fault, the price points that they give you, and I'll explain to you. They're going to figure out what the cost of that diamond was, $1.30. If they bought it for $1.30, and there are a ton of them available on our trading platform, and us jewelers, we have access to a trading platform. Diamonds all over the world are available to us at wholesale. If it's available for $1.30, they're certainly not going to pay you $1.30 for it. They can get them for $1.30. Mm-hmm. They may pay you $1 for it, because what's the difference between your stone and the stone that's available to them at wholesale? Nothing really, other than it's in front of them, but they can buy it. So they're going to buy it at a below wholesale price point.
Right. So when you're in a position to sell, you are now dropping down into the position of basically a manufacturer or a wholesaler. Mm-hmm. You now have something to sell that someone else is most likely going to resell. You are in that position. So the diamond has not depreciated, but you basically are now the supplier. So that's basically, the
That's
breakdown.
actually a good point. Yeah, you're the supplier.
You are now supplying the
So
stone.
you're
Yep.
you're actually competing against all the other diamonds that are available in the marketplace and the
Correct.
price point that they're available for. You're competing against that.
Yes.
So that's why a jeweler tells you what they're willing, and same with buyers. So we're in
Yep.
that position all the time.
Yes.
A lady will come in or a man will come in and be like, I got an appraisal from 1995. It says that this diamond is worth $15,000.
Right.
Yes, to replace it, that's the replacement value.
Correct.
If you lose it, it gets stolen. For us to source it, put our markup on it, put it back in the setting, roughly it could be about $15,000. But to buy it back, we're going back to the wholesale. So that $15,000 piece may only be worth $5,000, $6,000,
Right.
$7,000. So one of the reasons why working with a company like ours is when we consult with people that buy or sell back, we're able to open up that diamond to a different marketplace that's not available to most people, which is a consignment marketplace.
Yes.
We can sell it to end user consumers
Correct.
at a price point above wholesale but below retail. We're kind of a sweet spot in there. So if the local jeweler's willing to give you $5,000 for it, there's probably a really good chance that we might be able to get you $7,000 or $8,000 out of that piece
Sure.
with our margin in there. End user consumer. It may take some time, but
Right. Again, going back to that analogy, you're coming down off that pyramid, you're back in the supplier stage. You're supplying a diamond to
a buyer or a jeweler.
Yes,
Yeah.
to a jeweler. You're in that the same place that a wholesaler, would be. But with our consignment, what we're doing is we're actually going above that. We're now kind of a step above. We're still below retail because obviously the diamond is not, brand new anymore. We're in the secondary market, but we are above that supplier line for selling.
So it's kind of like the watch market. If you're a guy out there and you're watching this and you know the gray market for watches, that's what the secondary market is. It's a new marketplace. Ann and I got involved in that marketplace in the beginning. We actually opened a lot of that marketplace up. We were one of the first companies that actually offer consignment. So when we say secondary market, that's what that is. It's a used piece of jewelry that we're bringing back into the marketplace,
Yep.
selling to an end user. That's the secondary market.
Yeah. I think that covers what we wanted to cover for today. We will do some additional videos. We can talk about that appraised value. You touched on that a little bit here.
Yeah, there's actually
we
an
can-
appraisal video that I think Ann had done, which
Yes.
I'll link in the bottom.
Yep, great.
Obviously, subscribe to our channel. You'll get
Yep.
all sorts of information. Call,
Yep, or email with questions.
if you've got questions.
Sure.
We don't charge for any of our consulting. We do this on a daily basis, is what we do for a living.
Yep, information
globally.
is free.
Yep. And I think that's it. You've just learned now how a diamond comes from the mine all the way
Yep.
up through the chain and
The diamond pipeline.
the diamond pipeline.
Have a good day.
Thanks, guys.